it is time for the autism announcement. Boom! I just got this today. It's my flipper keychain. It's gonna be on makeshift on December 13th, 8 a.m. But that was my flipper keychain. Sorry, my curtain broke and I had to go fix it. Anyways, that keychain and plushie drops in December 12th, 8 a.m. EST, I think. The profits go towards charity. I'm trying to figure out an animal shelter or something like to go put it towards or something like that. So I'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, let's talk about Overwatch 2 Season 19. I am bolding, and I am scared that when I finally go bold, that is when they reveal the Lucio Mythic, and unfortunately, I will look like an egg when Lucio's Mythic gets revealed. But other than that, this season was very heavy on the filler, it felt like. It felt like it was very much, you know, like I said, Season 15, we got perks, right? Season 16, we got hero band. Season 17, we got map voting and Atlas, right? Season 18, we got Wu Young. And then Season 19, we got nothing. I mean, we got some updates to the game. We got some balance changes. We got some skins. We got, you know, like there's doing 2 mythic skins a season now. But to me, that's nothing too crazy. I like skins, right? But it's not the most important thing about the game. It's the important thing is the gameplay, right? And the thing that's kind of irked me is they still haven't dropped a new map. Overwatch has really been getting on my nerves the past couple of years. Or, I get, past couple of seasons. Let's just not go too crazy with it. But their consistency with map releases is so annoying. If they're not going to release a map every couple of seasons, at least update the day-night schedules for some maps. I've seen nighttime Esperanza. I've seen daytime Kings Row. I've seen several versions of like other maps that just have not been released and they've only used them in trailers. Daytime Shimbali Monastery. And it's just like, we don't get them. And we don't get new maps sometimes. So it's like, we might as well just get something to keep some of these older maps a little bit fresh. And more so talking a bit about maps a little bit later. But that's kind of like a thing that's kind of annoyed me a lot. The other thing with this season is the balance changes were kind of nothing. Honestly, they were pretty much a big nothing burger to me personally. And that's when I kind of just said, yeah, this season feels like a very heavy filler episode of Naruto. You know what I mean? Let me get these up real quick. Sorry. And this is when last season we kind of had a few issues with some characters and all that sort of stuff, right? Wu Yang was obviously dominating the game like crazy. And he got the biggest nerf out of all of them. He's still getting some play in high ranks, but you do not see this character that much anymore. The greatest quality of life change they did to this character is finally adding the timer on screen of when your title blast is going to explode. Thank God for that. They took their time with that, but that's okay. They did it, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean? And most of the other changes, like Curie got some nerfs. I think I'm counting mid-season, right? But like Tracer got nerfs to her like blink stuff, right? Reaper obviously got some nerfs as well. He was very dominant back in season 18. And it's like the thing with the launch, season 18 had a very dominant tank character, and that was Zarya. And Zarya was untouched for the entire first half of the season, right? And if we fast forward all the way to, hold on a second. If we fast forward all the way to November, when mid-season patch came around, all they did for her was change her energy converter perk. Energy gain reduced from 3 to 2. If you don't know what that is, basically whenever she would right-click, like her right-click would hit an enemy, she would gain free energy. This wasn't really good just because of the energy gain. It was just good because in between fights, you could spam the enemy spawn or spam chokes to keep your energy up. And it made Zarya very good simply because of that. And it's not because you get free energy just for hitting like one enemy or something. Like, it's just so you have that consistent thing. It's kind of like how a Sojourn player, if they're at 100 charge on their railgun, they'll keep shooting a tank to kind of like, you know, keep their charge up until a squishy peak so then they can burst them down, right? It's that same sort of thing going on there. And that's the nerf they did to the character, right? So that was just an absolute nothing burger. But thankfully, coming into mid-season, they did actually do a patch for 6v6. If you're out of the loop, I only play 6v6 now. I personally don't really like 5v5, simply because it feels like a lot of the games just don't really have that much passion in it, if that makes sense, right? 6v6, you can be in a Masters lobby, you can be in a Champion lobby, you can be in a GM lobby, and there's always people common. You don't really get games where the lobbies are dead quiet. Mainly, probably the reason is for that, because you get one extra insane person on your team, whereas 5v5, you have one less insane person on your team. But also, I think when you have 2 tanks, you know, people want to communicate more and synergize a lot more and all that sort of stuff. And that's personally why I prefer it. I like to have people to, like, communicate to and talk to and all that sort of stuff. It's a good vibe. It's, like, a much more enjoyable experience. Nothing sucks more than playing, like, any sort of multiplayer game and being in several lobbies where no one talks. And the only thing you can hear is your thoughts and Pink Panthers. But I do like Pink Panthers, by the way, so, you know, no flame there. But they did do some changes. Nothing too crazy to 6v6. It was more so just some health changes, some characters. Winston got a buff. Doomfist got a nerf. He was kind of needing a nerf, like, super badly. I don't think the best defense needed a nerf that badly. More so, his empowered punch, how easy it was to get empowered punch needed to go a little bit, and that's fine. Diva's defense matrix getting nerfed. That's great. That's good. Malga getting a buff, but this character still isn't really good in 6v6. Queen is very, very good now. She's absolutely one of the best tanks in 6v6 from my experience so far. She was, like, on day one of mid-season, she was getting banned so much. And then Ball also got nerfed a little bit, but he's still, like, one of the best tanks in the game. I mean, I've said it every single time. The one problem with this character is simply just the slam just feels so long. The range of it feels gigantic. All that sort of stuff, right? You know, you can keep him at high health. It's just, I wish the slam didn't hit me from some certain parts. It feels like I'm above him, the slam hits me. It feels like I'm really far away from him, the slam still hits me. And then because I lose that air control in the air, it still dumps me, right? So it's like, yeah, some of the changes they did in mid-season weren't anything too crazy, except for the Tracer and Genji nerfs, the two big ones where they actually took away their projectile size. I don't know if it's going back to the exact projectile size as it was back in Season 9, but people are writing Tracer and Genji off as, like, the worst characters in the game, right? She's still really good. Genji's still a really good character and all that sort of stuff. I'm very curious going into Season 20 of what's going to happen to these characters, because a lot of people are saying, like, they're, like, the worst characters in the game and all that sort of stuff, so it's going to be very interesting. The Ashe buff is pretty damn good. Warren's having a great time of it, and if Warren's having a good time, you know Overwatch is in a terrible state. Yeah, I guess, like, other than that, most of the changes here weren't anything too crazy. Hazard is still, like, a really unenjoyable tank to verse, in my opinion. I don't like versing Hazard at all. It feels like if you're playing a 225 HP character against Hazard, you're getting one shot off cooldown. There is nothing you can do against that character every single time. Even if you boop him away, his slash range is so gigantic. I wish his slash range just had a smaller range, because it feels like if I boop him away, even as he's flying away, he just slashes and still gets that damage in, right? But yeah, that's kind of like my whole thing with, like, I guess the balance this season. Zarya really needs a nerf. She is so unenjoyable to verse, right? Her grab range being up to 7 meters when it was originally 6 meters needs to go down. The bubble timing needs to go down as well, or even the bubble health. 2.25 seconds. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else, but I've got the muscle memory of 1, 2, boop, right? But 1, 2, 2.25, I can never get the timing correct on it all whenever I'm trying to, like, you know, if she's in a bad position, she bubbles herself. I want to boop her into my team, but I always boop a millisecond too early, and it feels like I cannot get it right, and it's very annoying. It's very frustrating, and it's just, I don't know, 2.25 seconds on bubbles is just irritating. I feel like the easy way you could do that is putting it down to 2 seconds, or you can make a bubble health just be reduced a little bit or something like that, so people can actually just burst through her a little bit more. I guess. I'm not really sure, right? But she's just not a fun character to verse. I want this character to get nerfed. Even though if she does get nerfed next season, I'm still probably going to ban a majority of the time, because Bubble is that much of a good ability, because a certain character next season will synergize disgustingly with that. Now, I will talk a little about Stadium later, but mainly the one thing they did this season that was like their big gameplay update, or more so stuff for the casuals, was the Haunted Masquerade update. This was a arcade game mode at the start of the season where you got to play, you know, a select amount of characters. It wasn't the entire Overwatch hero roster, and I'm not really a fan of it. I didn't really have the best time playing it. You know, god damn, my hair is crazy right now. I'm balding. Anyways, so yeah, they had this whole thing where when you're in spawn on control, you would pick a mask, right? And all these masks would have different abilities. So for example, Winston mask, melee damage knocks enemies back, or gain the ability to double jump when Genji's mask, enemies explode on death with Junkrat. There was also a hidden secret one on the maps too, the Lupo mask, where if you dealt, I think it was melee damage, you would get faster attack speed and movement speed. That would stack over time. It was broken on Ramatra. It was really, really fun. But I only played one game. I only played one game because Lucio wasn't available. Kiriko wasn't available, which is kind of weird for an arcade mode. I don't know why you would exclude like a character like that, because she's the poster child. She's the, you know, popular character, all this sort of stuff. She gets all the skins. And you couldn't even use skins in that mode, and you couldn't even swap characters unless it was in between rounds in that mode. And I was just like, 6, 7. I don't know. It just felt like a very much like a game mode they wanted to push out for Halloween, and maybe there was some time, like a deadline they had to hit, obviously for Halloween stuff, and it just felt kind of unfinished. There was some cool moments and cool ideas behind it, but not even being able to use your own skins. or swap heroes. It just felt like there was probably a whole bunch of bugs and tech issues, which is the reason why you couldn't do majority of those things. And to me personally, it kind of felt rushed. It's a cool idea, but you know, if they had a bit more time to work on it, I feel like it would have been a lot more enjoyable for the players. So it's quite unfortunate. I know a lot of people did like it, but not for me personally, right? Now, the other thing that comes about this is people are saying this is them testing team ups. More so like team up abilities. It's what Marvel Rivals has. And I personally don't think that's what they're going for. Like in 2026, they have a big gameplay shakeup coming in, you know, January, February, something like that. Season 21 is when they're going to do the big update for the game. And I don't think it's going to be team ups. I personally, I've been playing a lot of Rivals recently. I was actually just playing it before making this video. I stopped playing Iron Fist. I only play Mantis now. Like, you know, she's the best. She's so awesome, right? And the team ups in that game generally just feel like one person has to be the anchor while the other person gets to have all the fun. You know, it's like one person's sitting in the chair and the other person is having the time of their lives, if you know what I mean. And it's generally just, it feels like a balancing nightmare. I've kind of always felt like Overwatch with their balancing is becoming a little bit more odd with the whole perks and stuff like that. It's like sometimes you really want a proper, like, you know, balance in mid-season, but sometimes it's just like this perk is getting changed and no one uses the perk or something like that. So it's just like, yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. It's like this Tracer perk is getting changed, no one uses it anyway. Or it's like this Lucio perk is well, never mind, Lucio perks don't really get changed. I love the Lucio boot perk so much, right? But it's more so you kind of want maybe some characters that are health reduced or, you know, damage reduced or abilities changed up a little bit and more so just nerfed down a little bit. But instead it's just some perk changes, which kind of doesn't feel like it's the core focus sometimes. Some characters benefit really well from perks, while some characters kind of just benefit a little bit from perks, right? Hopefully that makes sense, right? But I think, honestly, what they're going for in 2026, well, my idea is, if you remember Quick Play Hack, they used to do this thing a while back where sometimes they would just take over Quick Play with these little special gimmicks and all this sort of stuff. And a lot of people hated it because it just overtook Quick Play. But there was a game mode a while back called the Pickable Passive. And I'm curious if Overwatch is going down a route where I had this idea with like the perk system where it's level 0, you know, before you actually get a perk, you pick a global perk for your role in spawn, right? So it's like, you know, unyielding, debuff duration reduced by 40%, or convert some health into armor, last stand, 50% cooldown reduction, below 50% HP. Obviously these are small, right? This was like this was a test they did ages ago. And it feels like a lot of people kind of didn't realize this was something. And I was kind of like, this might be something they do in future. It seems kind of cool on paper because it's like, oh, you know, the enemy team has a lot of crowd control. I should run like debuff duration reduced by 40%. Obviously, I don't know. It's like, I don't really think they're going to go into a team-ups route because personally, I don't want to hear Marvel Rivals versus Overwatch players fight for another couple of weeks. It's been happening today, and I am so tired of it. I like both games, and I'm so tired of the rage baiting, man. It is so annoying, man. Anyways, it would be a cool idea if they go down this sort of path, but other than that, I don't know what else they could be doing. I mean, if you guys have any ideas, I mean, let me know in the comments down below, because I just don't bloody know, eh? So yeah, that was the little game mode they had for the season, right? And, you know, going into, I guess, the skin department before I yap about Stadium, because I know everyone wants to hear me talk about Stadium. There was 2 new mythics this season for skins, right? And then there was obviously a new mythic weapon. Who the hell got the mythic weapon again? I've forgotten. It was, oh, Kiri. Yeah, I thought the Kiri mythic was pretty cool. I think it's pretty nice. I play a little bit of Kiri here and there when I'm bored or something like that. And that was pretty cool. Now, the Life Weaver mythic. Where is it? Am I blind? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this mythic personally. And there's like a conversation going on in the community because of the new cast mythic, right? And it's kind of just how like mythics are kind of lowering quality a little bit, and people aren't really happy with some of how they look and all that sort of stuff. I personally don't really like the cast mythic. It's not really my thing. People like it. That's fine. That's great. But yeah, people are pointing out that mythics are starting to get a little bit lower in quality. And more so, I just think Overwatch needs to give players a lot more customization options to keep players happy, right? Just to make their skins feel a little bit more unique. I don't really see many Life Weaver players with this skin on, and it's usually just kind of like the same combo. The only thing that's a big difference is obviously, you know, the color. It feels like the customization has gone all to the colors, right? Which, you know, there's 2 of these here, which cost extra mythic prisms and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's probably why they're going down that sort of path. But it just feels weird that You know, the only thing you were able to customize on this Lifeweaver skin, other than the colors, was the pedal in the back. Something you're not really seeing. It's unfortunate you're not able to customize the weapon, because obviously, you know, Mythic weapons now, it's kind of like the replacement, maybe the reasoning why they don't do that anymore. But it sucks because you can't really change his hair. I don't really like Lifeweaver's hair in this skin. I wish I could change it up a little bit. I mean, it looks really cute at the back, but actually, you know what? I take it back. I think it's really nice hair, but I feel like it'd be cooler if I could change up the hair a little bit more. Maybe some more like braided hairstyle, or, you know, go bold or something like that, because I'm going bold soon. So, you know, maybe some cool like representation for bold people like me, and that would be cool. But it's just like, yeah, it's only like one bit of customization. I just feel like they could go a little bit further beyond just to keep players happy, because I've always had the mindset that I think Mythic skins aren't really the most craziest thing ever. They're simply just legendary skins when the Overwatch team locks in. Sometimes they give legendary skins custom sounds or like mini custom effects. Like the Persona skins, for example, they had custom sounds and custom footprint things when you would walk on the ground or something like that. That was cool, and that was a legendary skin. Mythic skins is more so ability VFX, sound effects, and all that sort of stuff, and that's why I like them. I think they're cool in that department. But obviously, a lot of people just want customization. That's what people are asking for. And if there isn't much customization, people kind of feel like the Mythics aren't really worth it that much. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, Junkrat's Mythic is goddamn awesome. I love this. Despite the fact that there is a lack of Mythic customization, I think the effects in game are really cool. I think the trap is freaking awesome. I love it. I think it's really cool. Tire customization is awesome. I mean, you get to see the tire when you ult, so at least there's that, right? That's good. You can customize the tire you're using is like your ultimate. I think that's a cool thing. Everything about this whole thing is absolutely awesome. I love it. Like, as soon as this dropped, I instantly played with it, had a lot of fun with it. There actually is a game I had when Lucio got banned, and I did play Junkrat, which I do have saved, and I need to put that up on the channel at some point, which is an absolute treat to watch. But yeah, I absolutely love the Junkrat Mythic, despite not having customization stuff, because, like I said, the effects are really cool, the sound effects are really cool, like the visual stuff is awesome. I absolutely love it. I think this is like a super cool skin, and maybe it's like the reason why I don't really like the Lifeweaver stuff is I don't really like the Divine sort of style, and that's kind of why I don't really like the cast stuff. I really like more, I don't know, I guess cyber, or like very poppy colors or something like that, where it just really gets in your face. It's like walking into a casino. It's like, whoa, I really want to gamble, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, other than that, there was One Punch Man that also came back this season as well. Garu skin for Wu Young. People don't really like this that much. I mean, I don't know who else you could really give to this character. And honestly, they kind of did do their best with what they had, because Garu's fit is pretty simple in the show and the manga, right? But I think it looks pretty cool. But unfortunately, you know, it's like sometimes it doesn't really look the best in like the face model or something like that. But I think it still looks okay. And they also did Fubuki Ash as well. And I can also see that she's bolding. So it's honestly awesome that we have some representation in Overwatch. Hashtag W Overwatch. Where is Fubuki? Hello? Hellish Blizzard. There it is. Yeah, I thought this skin was alright. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, I think it's kind of nice. I like Lucky Cat more. Now, do I have anything else to talk about? Yeah, but like, you know, One Punch Man skins was cool. One Punch Man Season 3 freaking sucks, but at least the skins came back and they're cool, and people could get One Punch Doomfist, so that's cool at least. I wish they updated the older skins and gave them some custom sound effects like they do with most collaboration skins. I really want like Doomfist to have the actual Saitama like punch sound, like that big, you know what I mean? That would have been sick. That would have been awesome. That would have been swaggy and sick. Okay, now I guess I'll talk about Stadium. I ended up playing a good amount of Stadium around about the start of the season. I'm probably going to play it for drives, or a little bit for it for drives. But to be honest, I have gotten pretty bored of Stadium. I don't really have much fun in it anymore. And I think it's probably, like, once the new season starts, I'll probably have a good time of it again. I'm going to play Doomfist. Like, I'm going to have a good time on Doomfist, all that sort of stuff, right? But my problem with Stadium is that Lucio got gigantically nerfed in Stadium. His whole crowd pleaser reverb build, the double boop, is being nerfed down massively if you've been out of the loop. Basically, now you still have two boops, but the second boop is like this. Which, I haven't really seen anyone run the reverb thing for crowd pleaser. Most people are running it now simply just because they want Lumerica Fusion Drive, which gives you 50 armor every time you use an ability, so it kind of gives Lucio really, really good sustain in that scenario, right? But I haven't been using, I never really used crowd please. I went much more of a damage focused build, but I started using mixtape on Lucio because they gave this a gigantic buff, and this has been really, really fun to play with. It's like I run mixtape, I run Vivace, fast forward, and then it's like, you know, usually the game is probably like finishing around then. And it's like if it does go late game, it kind of struggles a little bit. And I kind of run like a little bit of like a melee, a little bit of weapon power, and a little bit of supportive stuff with like #1 single to give people a little bit of healing and all that sort of stuff, right? So I don't know. It's like I think Lucio is pretty good in Stadium still. I think he's a really good character. You never see him get played, right? Because there is like way better supports. Mercy, Brig, not Juno, sorry, but Mercy, Brig, Kiri with 2 Suzus and all that sort of stuff. Like, mind you, it's like, you know, it's like, I like Kiri. I think Kiri is great and all that sort of stuff. But having 2 Suzus with no, like, drawback or anything like that is a little bit annoying when Lucio is sitting here with, like, 2 boops and all this sort of stuff, where it's like, if you want to get value out of the 2 boops, you have to have 2 powers, right? And Kiri only has to have 1 power to get true value out of it, right? It's a little bit poo-poo pee-pee. We'll see if next season they do give him any changes, but I do honestly want to see some rework to some of these powers in Stadium. Cass is getting a rework to some of these powers. And it's like, cool, great, yeah, I can't wait to verse this character again every single game. So, you know, there's that sort of stuff, right? But the main reason why I haven't really been playing Stadium much anymore is, unfortunately, Hazard. Things you love to see. But unfortunately, every time I verse a Hazard in Stadium, it is just a boring, unfun experience. I am sick of this character. He's so damn strong. He just walks in, slashes, boom, and then just blocks. Block, 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 block. Damage coming out while he's blocking. Block, 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 block. Then he gets his slash again. Boom! And then you're dead. And it's like, what am I meant to do here? Can they add an item where if someone is constantly blocking, it punishes them? Or it does like 100 million extra damage or something like that? Also, I don't really like Hazard because every time I hear like the spike sounds come out of him, it like kind of like triggers something in my brain that really makes... It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. It's just the spiky sounds. It feels gross to me or something like that. But yeah, I've kind of not really been playing much Stadium anymore. It's just like, you know, I already hit All-Star. I didn't really see much of a reason to play it anymore. I got the skin, and it's just like the queue times are still obnoxiously long for support, and yeah. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about, and that was the best of 5 change to competitive. I didn't like it when the season started. I really disliked it. I thought it was really, really cooked and really stupid because it's like some of the games you would get were really, really good, but then they would just end like that. But as it was about to be removed, I started to enjoy it more and more. That was also because it would have been easy to speedrun drives because of it. And the second one was some of the more gimmicky characters in Stadium and more of the gimmicky builds could get online a lot faster, which means you could run more for fun builds instead of focusing on like the sweaty builds. And I think that was really, really good for that aspect, right? So it's like I would run like the Junkrat pooping everywhere build where you would run Gacha Bomb, you would run, what was it? Running lead, and kind of just jump around the map 24/7, like pooping bombs out, because you would have both powers by round 2, so you would have like good value in that scenario, right? But now they've changed it, and if you want to run that build, you have to really, really play super like amazingly well to kind of like scale before the enemy team just kind of like one-shots you and snowballs like crazy. So it's like the best of 5 format was really good for those snowbally characters, not snowbally characters, the more gimmicky builds where you could run really more for fun stuff and kind of experiment with powers more faster. But it was also like kind of basic for anyone that was running more so sweaty meta focused stuff, right? Which was, you know, it's fine. And maybe it's me, or it's like, maybe we should just give powers on like round 1 and 2, just to kind of like have people scale a little bit more earlier. And if you're running more gimmick silly builds, it's kind of like, you know, you get online faster. It's like round 1 and 2, you get powers, right? And then round, I don't know, 4, you get your third power. And then it's like 6th round, you get your final power. And then it's just all based on money, right? And it's like, I feel like the big fun part about Stadium is getting to like that full build, right? But once again, once you get to round 7, it's a match that's only going to go for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how, you know, scaled everyone is. But it's just like, you know, it feels like it ends so quickly. I want to play like full games with all my powers more often, but it's just like, feels like if I want to get to that full power thing, I kind of have to be in that lobby for like 30 minutes or something like that. And that can feel a little bit tiring and all that sort of stuff. And I would like to play with my full power build by like for at least like 6 to 7 minutes, you know what I mean, or something like that. But yeah, it's like I'll probably play a little bit more Stadium next season as Doomfist comes out. I didn't really feel that, it feels like whenever I make Stadium videos, people do like him, but it's kind of like when I make Stadium videos or videos in general, I'm very picky with the games. I want to make sure I give you guys like the most entertaining games possible and all that sort of stuff. And you know, all that sort of, it feels like with Stadium, I need the game to go perfect the entire time. And I only had like 2 games this season that went perfect, which will be a video coming out soon, which is like a mega compilation of games I had left over. But yeah, it's like throughout the entire time of me playing Stadium, I only had like 1 or 2 games that was really like entertaining to watch that I think the YouTube viewers, you know, you guys would enjoy. And I'm sitting here thinking, do I have anything else to talk about? Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, actually, I did talk about it on Twitter a while back, but I also said Overwatch is in a great state in terms of content creation. And it's a really positive thing. You know, it's like, I feel like a lot of people's channels are starting to grow. It's like, it feels like before, a lot of people would kind of struggle to grow as creators because, you know, some other creators would be posting so many videos and so many shorts daily that it was hard to kind of like, you know, stick out and like, you know, get past those creators and all that sort of stuff because, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And that's not me flaming them. Get your bag at the end of the day, right? That's more so, it was very hard to break out as a creator in Overwatch. But I feel like now, since majority of those creators have gone off to Rivals, for example, and once again, I'm not flaming, I feel like a lot of new creators have really popped up and started to grow in the community, which is absolutely wonderful. I think it's really good. I've started to like watch more Overwatch content, which is absolutely wonderful. You've got people making Stadium content. You've got people making esports content. You've got people making ranked content, casual content, and it's great. It really does make me happy to see Overwatch as a community thriving in the content creator season. There's more people to watch. It's like I asked my community, it's like, who are you guys watching? And it's like a whole bunch of creators I haven't heard of because I'm like, holy moly, there's so many like new people in this scene. This is awesome. This is great. So that's a great positive thing. And if you're someone that hasn't started creating content for Overwatch yet, you should. Now's a great time to. You 100% should. You should become the rank 1 Vendetta, which I was going to talk about her, but I'll probably save it for next season or something like that. Well, I'll quickly say she's the most fun character I've played. It's next to Lucio. She's so damn good, bro. I hope she doesn't get nerfed. She is so amazing. If you want to nerf her, just give her shields every time she uses an ability, and I think she'd be really easy to play against after that. And last but not least, Overwatch Esports is starting to thrive again. I did Overwatch co-streams with Aspen and Warren. I convinced him to come do it with me, and we had such a great time. I probably will do a lot more Overwatch co-streams in future. I don't know if I'll do, like, you know, YouTube videos or something about it. I do have all the VODs, which I could put them up on the channel. They're like 7 hours long of me, Aspen, and Warren just chilling out watching it. Do bear in mind that me and Warren flame each other a lot, and we don't actually hate each other. We're friends. This is just what friends do. I don't want people in the comments to freak out about that, but Overwatch Esports is like really back at the moment, and it's really cool to see. Dallas Fuelers just came back, and Disguised Toast, his org has also joined Overwatch Esports, which, you know, bear in mind, that's really big. You have like a mainstream content creator with a team in Overwatch, and it's like, you know, you feel like the mainstream streaming community kind of hates Overwatch and all this sort of stuff, but seeing as like someone in like the mainstream community, the biggest Among Us creator, creates like an Overwatch team, that's awesome. That's so cool. And also congratulations to Twisted Minds. Quartz is a disgustingly good DPS player. If you haven't watched Overwatch Esports, when it starts in next year, I will probably be co-streaming a couple of games here and there. It's an absolute treat to watch with how good these players are. Nerf Zarya to the ground, though. I am so tired of Beam Slop. Symmetra also got to go, man. She is so damn strong in high ranks. So, yeah, I think that's it from me. I over-yapped. I did not mean to yap for this long, but this season was okay. Just okay. I think even though we didn't really get any big content updates or gameplay updates, I think it was still fine regardless. I think the game getting 6v6 updates is good. I think they should continue to do that every season or so. Even if it's just once a season, that would be great. Even if it's every 2 seasons, that would be fine. Honestly, just getting a little thing here and there just to kind of get people, you know, interested in playing it again. Yeah. Some of the changes coming into Season 20 look pretty good. I still really want a new map. Where is that Atlantic map or whatever it is? I don't know what it's called, but or that other Tokyo map they had showing it the February spotlight. Who knows where it is? Anyways, take care of yourselves, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm the yapper. I'm bolding.